Well, it looks like I'm the only one who couldn't get into the original Santa Claus movie, as they made not one, but two sequels to this film, both with Tim Allen reprising the role. How do they hold up? Well, I guess like the first Santa Claus, there's some elements that are really magical, unique, and nice, while other moments are painfully predictable and extremely boring, and, well, do they balance out? Well, that depends which one you're looking at. In Santa Claus 2, The Mrs. Claus, Tim Allen has to find himself a wife and get married, or else all the powers of Santa Claus will disappear. And of course, being typical Disney, he only has a month to do it and convince her to marry him. Shit like that makes this really stupid. But what makes it good are some really genuinely romantic elements. And yes, it's still done in a month, and that's weird, but if you look at everything else as kind of this first date and just a couple slowly falling in love, then actually it's not that bad. He tries courting a principal at a school that at first he thinks is really cold-hearted, but the more he talks to her, the more he realizes that there's actually more to her than he thought. And their chemistry, I think, is totally believable and really charming, and leads to a lot of very nice romantic moments. But guess where it leads? That's right, he has to tell the truth about who he is, she gets angry and doesn't believe him, and it all starts over again. We saw it in the first film, it wasn't good then, why are we watching it again? But to the movie's credit, there's a subplot about a robot Santa who's taking over the North Pole, and it's surprisingly really funny. Let me rephrase that. It's so awkwardly acted that you can't help but find it funny. And I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it actually does get a giggle out of me. But then you gotta sit through another subplot about his son being put on the naughty list, which really you don't need. You could have cut this and everything would have been fine. And he also had to sit through some incredibly unfunny moments where Tim Allen seems like a jerk and is really annoying, but then at other times he seems really charming and really nice, and at other moments the comic relief can be really funny, at other moments they can be really not funny, and oh, it's just all over the place. But for me though, I at least give the movie credit that's trying something different. For the most part. There's another Claus and there's another mission, but at the same time, we see more of the North Pole, and we see some really nice Christmassy moments, and we see Santa Claus actually being really charming, and yeah, Tim Allen actually is turning out to be a very unique kind of Santa Claus. It's still Tim Allen, but yeah, he sort of gives it his own spin. So I did find myself actually liking it enough, because yeah, there's enough unique things to it. The third one, on the other hand, is a bit of a different story. This one's called The Escape Clause, and we have Martin Short come in as Jack Frost, who's trying to totally dethrone Santa and take over his job. Well, that's all fine and good, but we have a subplot where his wife wants to bring her parents up, but they can't because they don't think they can keep a secret, so they try to convince him that it's Canada. Well, okay, that's kind of funny, that can work, but then we have yet another subplot with her about to give birth, and yet another subplot about him being too busy, and yet another subplot that's combining like 3 different movies where he goes back in time, and it's like he never existed as Santa, and what does that mean? So we sort of have Back to the Future and It's a Wonderful Life and the other Santa Claus movies, and any other movie you can throw in here that's not entirely original. There's still some strong elements, like I enjoy how a lot of the machines making the toys break down, so he has to make the bits of the toys that are still around into one other toy, a brand new toy that's actually pretty cool. Again, it's showcasing how the Tim Allen personality could actually make an okay Santa Claus. But the parents are miserable characters, most of the time it's just spent with people being unhappy, not getting many laughs, even Martin Short is really underplayed in his comedy. But the designs are still really nice, and I really enjoy these enchanted side characters like the Easter Bunny and Father Time and stuff like that. They were a good addition in the second film, and they make much more of an appearance here, and I really like them. But for me, there's just not enough fun to it, or comedy. So yeah, on the whole, I actually would kind of recommend the second one if you can get through some of the bullshit, but the third one just has too much bullshit for me. I give credit that they tried to do something new with the idea and at least try to evolve it, and when it works, it's great, but when it doesn't, it's a pretty awkwardly annoying Christmas. But hell, if you're a Christmas junkie like me, you're gonna see it anyway. So check it out and draw your own conclusions.